to the 30-Minute Podcast with your hosts, the IZZ, and
I'm Mariposa, and we are here with our very special guest today. We're at Corks Cuvée, Wine with Regina.
Hello, everyone.
in beautiful, historic Conyers, Georgia.
Yes. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you for having us in this beautiful location.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. We are really happy to have you here on set in our shop.
Yeah, we love it. It is just so beautiful, and it's like sets the tone. You come in and you just want to buy stuff. Isn't that great?
That's wonderful. Well, then that was by design.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel hoodwinked because I already made my purchase. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so we want to follow up and have on location and talk more about wine. You know, you told us before some great buys at different price points, and you gave us a lot of background. But before we jump into that, can you just refresh everybody's memory about your qualifications and how you got into this space?
Okay, so I'm Regina Jackson. I am a certified specialist of wine. I'm a French wine scholar. I am WSEC certified, which is the European body for education for wine, and I'm a somm.
Nice.
And for y'all that didn't get that, somm is sommelier.
Sommelier.
Awesome accomplishment. So, who do you want to talk about?
We've talked and been able to tour this beautiful location, and you've used words. I'm really big on understanding. So you were telling us about some different wines. You were saying cava, and I hope I'm saying that correctly.
That is correct. Correct.
And the different champagnes. And
right.
We know, a lot of us know different ones.
Right.
Me, I've let the 1972 Merlot, I put her to bed.
You put it to bed.
Finally.
Thank you.
But I'm still on that 19 crime.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think our conversation was around bubbles.
Right.
And we know champagne, and the grapes have to be grown in that region to technically be called champagne. Okay. Cava is Spain's offering for sparkling wine. Prosecco is Italian. It's the grape is Glera. And there are sparkling wines all over. You have Cremants, you have Frisantes, and these are just the types of bubbles that we're talking about. Like the mousse, when I talk about the mousse, is how big the bubbles are, how fine the bubbles are.
Wow, okay. Who knew?
Yeah.
Now we know.
And you have levels of sweetness within sparkling wines. Brutes typically denote dryness.
Okay.
And then if you see sec or demi-sec, those are sweeter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, what's next?
Did you have any questions? Because I
do, but I want you to talk about what you want to talk about first. See,
I
I am giving you the floor.
I appreciate that because I am not as. So we're starting beginner lessons and then going.
Is that what it is?
Right?
Is that? Well, I do have on the Corks Cuvée shirt. I've been in here a couple of times.
I got on the Shea shirt. So
I was here for the great
day.
I like all the shirts we got going on here today.
Okay. You must know a lot because you have your own Mariposa.
Which
stem.
is just, oh my gosh, I can't wait to take those home. It's beautiful. I love it. Buy them here, Corks Cuvée.
And they were Natalie inspired because of Mariposa, and I know she happens to love the coral colors.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
So I want to go through, and we have listeners all over, but I specifically want to talk about, those areas not seen or those manufacturers or winemakers that are not seen. So I wanted to know about maybe some African American or maybe even some Mexican American wine houses. What do you call them? Wine groves?
Yeah, so you're a winemaker or you're behind a brand. And so we do have several here at Corks Cuvée. I'll start over here. Andre Mack, he is the winemaker at Maison Noir. He's out of Willamette Valley, Oregon. He has OPP, Other People's Pinot, and then OPP, Other People's Pinot Gris.
Other People's Pinot or Pinot Grigio?
Yes.
Okay.
Pinot Gris.
Pinot Noir,
Yes.
Pinot Grigio.
Yes.
Okay.
So same grape, Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio. It's a gray skinned grape. So just so you know.
And Pinot Noir darker for the noir meaning black or
yes,
darker.
red.
Got it.
Correct.
Grigio gray, Noir darker.
Correct.
Okay.
And we also have McBride Sisters.
Tell me his name again, Mac.
Andre Mack.
Andre Mac.
Andre
Okay.
Mack. Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
Okay.
Out of Oregon.
Out of Oregon.
Okay.
Yes. We have the McBride Sisters collection. We have both collections. Their original McBride Sisters collection, which is an amazing story. These were African American sisters who did not grow up with each other,
Right.
who found themselves later in life, both in the wine business, and had no idea they were sisters. And then once they discovered, they created McBride Sisters collections. They've recently come out with something called Black Girl Magic, which is a different collection.
I gotta check
We'll be
that
doing
out.
That's sold out, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I had cases that dropped on Friday and they were sold out in hours.
Whoa.
Is that Black Girl Magic, Black Woman Magic?
Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic.
And we had the Riesling. They also make a sparkling, a red blend. Yeah.
And they have a Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh yeah, they definitely have Sauvignon Blanc. That was in their original collection.
Okay.
So it's a very popular wine.
Beginner.
Sauvignon Blanc is my favorite.
It
If I'm
is
drinking
my
wine,
favorite.
That's my
Yes. We also have Flo, For the Love of, and that's Marcus Johnson. Marcus has been here at the shop telling his story. He started off as a lawyer, and he is a musician and a winemaker. And he has been great. He has a Moscato, he has a red blend, and a Chardonnay that is sold here. We have Lafitte du Rosé, which we're sold out of, and no distributor can get
so
it.
popular.
Yes, it is so popular. Danae, he's actually been here, and super nice guy, making an amazing rosé. I mean, it is delightful.
And for the ladies, he's a very nice looking man. Just,
Yes, he is.
You know, look, I can't be never heard of sipping on the rosé. I mean, come on. So
We also have Lakata from Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan, and we just did an interview with Phil Long, who is the president of the African American Vintners Association. He has longevity wines. He shared with us his story, which is an amazing story. Went from Inglewood to an award-winning winemaker, which is fantastic.
and so you hear the.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why you did that together? I just was going back.
Cut my story
I
off. Go ahead.
have to.
Go ahead.
You said Raekwon. You mean Raekwon? You mean Wu-Tang Raekwon?
I'm talking
You
about
mean like?
Wu-Tang, yes.
You mean like skewing on the grill with Outkast? Like,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Old school players and new school fools.
Oh, that's
Cats
one of my
keep jumping
favorite
like
songs.
kangaroos.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Go ahead, Raekwon. I'm about to shout out Raekwon. Wu-Tang forever.
I guess Raekwon is into wine now.
Killer Bee.
He has a lovely Lambrusco, and it is in a beautiful bottle, and so people really have gravitated towards it, and we've been selling out ever since we brought that
It's
into
a
the shop.
Lambrusco.
Lambrusco, which is a sparkling red, tends to be on the sweeter side, pairs very well with barbecue, any kind of
Skew
barbecue.
it on the grill.
Skew it on the grill,
But see,
yes.
a beautiful bottle works every time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people buy 2 or 3 bottles just so they can drink the wine and keep the bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So,
just had to get it.
I'm glad you got that out. But it just when you told about the lawyer and then the McBride sisters, and I've heard the phrase that every bottle has a story.
Every
And
bottle has a
I'm-
story.
I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
Like each one of these winemakers that you talked about, they have some just really interesting backgrounds. Like
Yeah.
they weren't just born into the wine industry.
No, and many of these winemakers were not. Just like myself, I didn't grow up on a vineyard or anything, but I absolutely fell in love with the world of wine, and so that's how I got from the spots to here.
Right, and it's the fact that we're here in Conyers, Georgia. You don't
Historical.
historic downtown.
Conyers,
you don't
the
really
Purple
think
Heart
about. Okay.
I'm
All
sorry.
Okay, you don't really think about Georgia as a wine capital, or like Conyers or Atlanta even. But what are some of the wine-friendly cities? Because, like you said, we have listeners that are all over. Where are some of the more wine-friendly cities? in the
Sure.
US?
So I'll start on the West Coast and move back towards the East Coast.
Okay.
Obviously, Napa, Sonoma, Lodi, those are all in California. Santa Ana, Santa Lucia, St. Lucia. I mean, all of these beautiful places, that's California. You have
Yes.
Oregon, which is beautiful. Willamette Valley is
yeah.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
We went there
Yes, we
and
did.
visited several different wineries. Andre Mack is out of that winemaking region. Washington State is also fantastic. Kind of coming more on the east side, Finger Lakes, New York. They're making some amazing Rieslings.
Finger Lakes, New York.
It is absolutely beautiful if you ever get a chance to go there.
Okay.
It is huge wine country.
Okay.
Virginia, just beautiful. Absolutely. And actually, North Carolina actually has an ABA, which is a viticulture region within a state or an area. So they actually have ABAs there in North Carolina as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, that's all great new information for me.
Yeah.
So more places to check out
Yeah.
for the wine. Okay,
Absolutely.
great. All right, ICC, what else you got?
I think we passed the beginner stage. I want to hear more of this advanced stage because I heard that you all went on into a place. So tell us
We've
about
gone
some
many
of,
places.
So tell us about some of the better, maybe some of the of your top 3 favorite resorts or destinations when in the area of wine.
Are you talking stateside or are you talking abroad?
Let's start stateside. We can start
Okay.
stateside.
I think Oregon was one of my favorites. When I went to Lodi, I went there for a conference and then fell in love with just the sustainability of the vineyards in Lodi. I mean, Napa and Sonoma, they get a lot of press, but Lodi I found to be just a place where families are farmers and they really take pride in the grapes that they're growing. They take very much a huge pride in the wines that they're making.
Okay.
They're really known for Zinfandels, old vine Zinfandels. And so if you go, you just see, vine after vine after vine, acres and acres, or hectares, is what they refer to in winemaking as the wine growing space. How many hectares do you have?
Like hectometers?
Like hectares.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
So that means, for those who don't know, that means 10 meters.
Correct. Yeah,
10
absolutely
meters.
correct.
Okay. All right. So California, Washington, you moving across.
Yeah,
So that's one place.
Yeah,
You have
Oregon,
any other
Finger
favorites?
Lakes was really nice. I enjoyed Finger Lakes. It was just absolutely beautiful to be on the lakes and seeing over and to see the vineyards. It gets very, very cold there, so they do some ice wine there as well. And
Please
so,
explain.
yeah, so ice wine is where the grapes are allowed to stay on the vine until they're frozen. They actually pick these usually in the very early hours of the morning. The grapes are frozen, and what happens there, the sugars get really concentrated in the grapes. So you have a really lovely, sweet wine. And usually they come in really skinny half bottles.
Okay.
Really nice. And people drink those, a lot in the holiday time in the winter. So we will have those here at Corks Cuvée as well.
Okay, we'll have to check that out.
And the Finger Lakes is in what?
It's New York. It's upstate New York.
Upstate New York, okay.
So what about, can we go abroad now?
We have some listeners that are abroad.
Yes, we
do.
do.
Let's go abroad.
So what are some of your other favorites?
So Italy, obviously, and within Italy, I just love Florence. Yeah.
Florence is
It really is
one of a
amazing.
kind.
Yeah. And Veneto is where a lot of great wines are coming out of. It's in the northern part. Sicily is in the boot, the bottom of the boot. I have a wine a Pinot Noir from Sicily that is fantastic.
Okay.
Picture it. 2001, Sicily.
No, come on.
For these people that are listening or watching now, this is the passport portion of the show.
Yes, it is.
This is
It
the
really
passport. So, fellas, if your lady telling you to get a passport,
You need to get
You
one.
need to get one.
Yes.
You really do.
passport. So we said, we've hit several spaces in Italy.
Yeah, and Spain is also Rioja down in the southern part. It's just fantastic. They're producing Tempranillos. Tempranillos are Spain's claim to fame.
Yes.
Rioja is a very acclaimed wine region. Tempranillo can be released very young, which is called Joven. You have a Crianza, has a year of age on it. You have a Reserva, which is 3 years. And then Grand Reserva, 4 years. So if you like Tempranillo, that grape can be pretty much vinified in any way and satisfies most red wine drinkers.
So if you don't mind going back to that, knowing from my days of Spanish and taking Spanish and multilingual, you talked about a Joven grape, which is a young grape. Are they any Viejo grapes? Can you ever make Viejo wine, or is it after a certain age a grape is not good to use?
Well, obviously there's a cycle for grapes. You have the bud burst and veraison is when the colors actually come on the leaves, and then you have harvest. So there's a cycle. So grapes only last so long. Now once you ferment that,
Yeah.
It can, it comes in a liquid form, what we call wine. Can last years. It really just depends. Obviously, I always tell people if I'm going to dinner tonight, I'm not going to buy a 2018 cab to take to someone's dinner. It's just not ready yet. We call it killing babies. I would look for 2015, 2016 to take to a dinner if I was going to drink it tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you know. So you know what to show up with. So you're getting all these tips for everybody that's trying to up their wine game.
So it's 2020, and all of my wines, unless they're for personal consumption, should be 2016 and older models, 2016, 15, 14.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to drink it tonight, obviously people are buying 2018s. They're going to lay them down for a little bit, and they go back to them in a year, 2 or 3.
And literally lay them down. Like position.
Right, and if it is under cork, and when I say under cork, that you actually have a cork that was harvested out of, they grow. So
yes,
and so a lot of people mistake screw tops for wines that are not quality wines.
Yes,
and that's not the case at all. But when we talk about corks, if you stand the bottles up for a really long time, the cork can dry out and oxygen can get through, it can crumble, and then your wine is going to be compromised. We lay the wines down to keep the juice against the cork. The cork doesn't dry out, and then when you open it, you have a lovely wine to drink.
Nice.
Got it. So lay it down, lay it down.
Lay it down, lay it down.
You lay it down. Older than 2016.
Yeah, I mean, if you're drinking it tonight, I'm not saying they're not wines that you buy now and drink now. There are some, but there are some wines that, require you to give them some time to bottle before they are at their optimum drinking age.
That's a tip, though, because
Yeah.
the 2016s are the ones that's usually on sale. They usually. I'm saying, you can be economical in this bourgeois chat.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I get my fancy on for cheap.
Okay.
I heard that, but I gotta have a passport though.
So earlier you mentioned sustainability,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to talk about what can our listeners do in terms of eco-friendly things with wine. Like, I know, of course, we would recycle the bottles, the glass.
Yeah.
What else is in this space that is eco-friendly that people could take action?
Yeah, so corks are definitely recyclable. You can recycle corks. We recycle them here. We have a contract with the county where we turn over our corks, and you can make soles for shoes, cork boards. You can make mats. There's so many things you can do with recycled corks because they grind them up. And because of the buoyancy in a cork, they make great soles for shoes.
Jessica Simpson was in that space. I know she has a
Yeah.
lot of corked bottom shoes.
And so do I, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually very, very comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, that's
So
good to know.
we keep corks all year to our anniversary, and when we celebrate, we always give a prize for whoever can guess how many corks are in the big glass. So we usually,
that big glass right there.
yeah, that big glass right there. So we
So-
collect them all year, and then we turn them over to the county.
So Corks and Cuvée, so that's like a double entendre. You have the corks because you actually do one. Even though a wine bottle has a cork, you recycle them, so you giving back to
Yes.
to the county.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yes.
The county of Rockdale. with
Yes,
that,
Rockdale County.
Right.
Yes.
And then you also the Cuvée because you also have the wines.
We also have the wines, and we get this question a lot about what the meaning of cuvee is.
Yes.
And I always tell people there are two meanings in the wine space. For champagne making, when they bring the grapes to first press, the juice that comes out of that first press is considered the most prestigious juice. Mm-hmm. It's called the tête de cuvée, and you're going to pay a lot more for that wine and that champagne. And then in regular winemaking, it's a blend. And because we have a retail space, but we do so many other things in the wine space. I do cellar management. I consult with restaurants on wine lists. I do a bit of wine writing and partnering with someone in Oregon right now to bring some light to diversity and inclusion in this wine space.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on all your success.
Well, thank you.
All your new endeavors I can't wait to see this Oregon
Yes.
piece come
Yeah,
to
it's-
light. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So, unless you have other questions,
No,
it's
just
time to start
congratulations.
drinking wine.
Congratulations to just a beautiful space.
It is
Well, thank you.
gorgeous.
Just a nice space in historic Conyers,
Conyers,
Georgia.
yeah.
Well, thank you for having
Can you
me.
give us the address and where they can reach you?
Absolutely. So, Corks Cuvée Wine and Gift Shop at 923 Center Street in Old Town Conyers.
Yes. Well, thank you for being on the show. So it's time for us to taste some wine. So we're going to wrap up this interview. But thanks for watching. I'm Mariposa.
The IZZ.
And thank you for having Regina Jackson of Corks Cuvée. Cheers.
Where can we find you on Instagram?
We are Corks Cuvée on Instagram and Facebook. So follow us. We have a lot of great information out there on
Yes, you really do.
both of our social media outlets.
Awesome. Thank you again.
And thanks for joining us. Until next time.
Cheers.